Okay, in this Autodesk Inventor video, we're going to cover these three topics: how to start a new file, the different types of templates that you can use in Inventor, and finally, the file types. So if you're looking at our notes, we're going to cover number 4 all the way to number 13 in this video. So let's talk about templates first. And just so you know, along with the notes, I've also included additional reference pictures. So if you don't know what you're talking about in your notes, you can always look at the picture to help you kind of tie the two together and figure out what the heck you were talking about. So let's talk about different templates. And before we do that, I got to show you how to start a new file. So in your Autodesk software, we're going to go ahead and go to the big new button. You'll also notice in parentheses it gives you the keyboard shortcut, which is Control and N on the keyboard. So I'm going to click on the new button, and then this create new file window is going to pop up. Now the first thing that we want to talk about is templates, and the templates are listed over here on the left. You can kind of expand and contract that folder, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of templates in Inventor. The one that we are mainly going to be using almost all the time is English, unless I tell you to use metric, but majority of the time we will be using the English system. So you want to make sure that English is highlighted. So I just gave you number 4 and number 5. I know my picture looks a little different. I need to update that picture. So number 4, there should be 1, 2, 3, 4 different templates. Okay? I know my picture is off. I'll have to fix that. So that's the different templates. So where are we going to next? What was next? File types. So when you start something new in Inventor, you have to specify what type of file you want. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4 different file types that you can start with. And in the blue above each one of those, you can read kind of what they are. You have a part file, an assembly, a drawing, and a presentation. You pretty much always work top to bottom. So we'll always start with a part. After you make a part, you do an assembly. After you do an assembly, you'll typically do your drawing files, and then after that you'll do a presentation. So it's typically top to bottom is your workflow with the different types of files in Inventor. So let's talk specifically about the first file type, which is a part file. And the file extension is IPT. What does that stand for? I believe it's Inventor Part Template. I believe IPT. I'm thinking that's what it is, but this is a part file. The icon is a little yellow box, just like this. So when you go into File Explorer and you're looking at different files, instead of this folder, if that was an Inventor part file, it would be this little box right there. So the first type is a part file, and the extension is IPT. Let's give you a description of what that file is. Well, if you're an Inventor and you click on that, you just highlight blue once, you'll notice over here you got your file extension, you got your units, but then here's your description. So what I'd like you to do is type this out for your description for the answer to the guided notes. So a part file is just a single part. It can be either 2D or 3D, and it's just a single part all by itself. So that's kind of why I was giving you that additional picture here. A part file is just a single part all by itself. And again, you're filling out this description based off of the information you're reading here. No screen clipping, you must type it, do not screen clip. The next file type is an assembly. And just so you know, we'll never use sheet metal, we'll always use standard inch IPT. After you do a part file, or a few part files, you may want to assemble them to create your assembly, which is a standard inch IAM. So the next one is an assembly file, so that's your next answer. The file extension, so what file type? It's an IAM. Okay, IAM. And your description is right here. Template creates a collection of precisely aligned parts and other assemblies. So if you take a look, remember what this one looked like? Just this part? Well, now when you go to the assembly, they did some other parts, and now they're putting everything together to assemble it. There's that original part, and they made some more. So you have your part file, which is one part, and then you have assembly file, which has multiple parts being put together, and your description is there. The third one is a drawing file, which looks like, oh, I clicked on the wrong one. Wait 1 second here. Is the drawing file right here. You'll notice what the icon looks like, and again, I forgot to talk about that in the last one. So if you take a look, they have multiple cubes being put together for the assembly. So they had multiples of these, and they're putting them together for an assembly. If you look at this icon, it looks like a multi-view drawing or an orthographic drawing like we've done before. And if you take a look, you can see that you're creating a multi-view drawing of your assembly or part along with an isometric. So that should be a review of some of the topics that we've already covered, and you can see how you're taking what we've already learned and applying it now into the computer software. So that's a drawing file, and the one that we'll always use is the ANSI inch IDW. So to answer your next question, it's a drawing file. File extension is IDW, and your explanation or description is right here. You're creating views and details and dimensions of that part or assembly. The last one is a presentation file. The presentation file extension is an IPN, and pretty much this creates an animated exploded assembly, or actually showing how a part is actually put together. So it's kind of like a little video that you can make showing somebody how to assemble all the different parts. So that one's pretty cool. So those are your 4 different file types that you could choose from when you initially start a new file in Inventor. Again, workflow, you'll typically work top to bottom. After I make some parts, then I'll go to an assembly. Then I'll make the drawing files with all the detailed information and dimensions, and then finally I can go into a video file to show everything's put together. Again, to go from top to bottom, it's going to take you a little while to get down to that assembly file, which is the last one. But we'll always start up here and work our way down. And I believe that is it for this video.